Okay, so we've got Dillashaw busted for doping. Busted for doping. So if you don't know who he is, Dillashaw is about a 55 kilo. 55 kilo. He's about 165 centimeters tall. He's a little dude fighting in the UFC, professional UFC fighter. And you can see here, I can tell he's on the gas. This guy here, Cody, he looks pretty natty. There's not much definition going on there. He looks pretty natty. He probably gonna be on some legal shit. But we'll see here. So we can see that, the banter between those guys is pretty real. I mean, even Dana White in that picture. Dana White's on gear as well. So they retested his old samples, tested positive for EPOs, which is, for me, it's hilarious. It's hilarious that, a UFC fighter would use EPO when these guys aren't even fit. These guys aren't even cardio fit. I mean, what are they running a 5K in? Maybe 20 minutes, 21 minutes, Like, why use EPO? Just train more. I mean, it's crazy. If you want more cardio, just ride the bike and run more, that you don't need to dope. For EPO, you don't need to use EPO for UFC. It's just silly. If you want to get cardio, it's stupid. It's stupid using EPO for cardio when your cardio is so shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no UFC fighter. There's not a single UFC fighter who can keep up with me in a 5K. And I'm like almost 42. And I'm not a gun runner. I'm running like 16:30 when I'm fit for 5K. Like, there's no UFC fighter running that fast. So for them to use EPO is stupid. These are some two other athletes, UFC fighters, got busted for hormones, etc. So fake natties. Everyone's doping at some level. UFC, it seems to be. Everyone's using some gear. So let's have a look at. So he's training with Sam Cavalita. Let's have a look at the diet here. So he credits it to he credits it to his keto diet. That's why he's getting the results. But it's doping. We found out it's doping that's giving the results. So that's another fake natty. Let's go to Dillashaw. Drastic weight cut. So again, he'd just be doping. If you use an EPO, here's the thing: if you're using EPO for cardio, when you don't even need to, then you're gonna be using a lot of other shit that you don't even need to use potentially. Let's have a look at Joe Rogan. Let's listen to this interview. Listen how dumb these guys are, man. How dumb these guys are. Listen to this.
I'm high fat, high protein diet, low to no carb, obviously different kinds of carbs. I have to have carb.
Low to no carb. Obviously I have to have, what? It's like saying I don't use EPO. Obviously I have to use EPO. Oh, I don't use steroids. Obviously I have to use steroids. Like, these guys, oh my God. These guys got no fucking idea. They're using EPO to get cardio for a fight. No idea how to train. No idea how to train for cardio.
But just I won't be ketogenic, but I'll get my body into ketosis certain times throughout my camp.
Right. I won't be ketogenic, but I'll get my body into ketosis. Bro, it's the same thing.
To make me insulin sensitivity high, right?
These guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about, do they? They've got no idea. They're just parroting shit from some dumb trainer who's pumping them full of steroids. And the steroids and EPO is what's getting them a bit of results there. It ain't the fucking fad diet. He looks at the ground as well. He's looking at the ground now. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's got no confidence. This dude's got massive confidence in the ring, but when it comes to that diet, nutrition, training, he's got no confidence. He's looking at the ground. He's stalling. He's hesitating. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's listen more. I'll try not to interrupt.
So I'll eat simple carbs that break down faster.
They found that people, even on this carnivore diet, which a lot of people are doing now.
Just like I say, Joe Rogan, man. Dude's on steroids, looks like shit. Look at his posture. He's just like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, if you're on steroids, at least look good. Joe, let me get on the podcast, bro. I'll give you some nutrition tips. Get you looking in shape.
They still reach ketosis. They still reach ketosis because they're not taking in any grain. They're not taking in any carbohydrates. And even though your body converts protein through glucogenesis, it converts it into sugars, into glucose. It's doing it in a very efficient way and processing in a way that a lot of these people are in ketosis all the day, most of the time. Just not the same high levels.
It's gluconeogenesis, and it's not efficient. Joe, ketosis isn't efficient, bro. Try and perform when you're in ketosis. Fuck, these fucking podcast nutrition experts.
If you were going a regular ketogenic diet, I think it's supposed to be 70% fat, something crazy, or 60-something%.
He talks so slow. For the amount of drugs and uppers he takes, he's quite a slow sort of talker.
Fat, and then the rest protein.
Yeah.
Did you tell Jordan Peterson that? Isn't he eating all meat?
Yeah, he's eating all meat. I think, and I had his daughter on recently as well, and it's very controversial.
There's a bit of waffling on there.
They have allergic reactions to all kinds of different foods. And I think it's really, really rare. I think for most people like you or I, you're really better off eating rich, dark, green, leafy vegetables and nuts and fish and chicken and wild game. And, I think...
So chicken's good to eat, but it's domesticated as fuck. But let's hear the emphasis on wild game. What you eat? Wild fish, wild game. But chicken's okay, but it's full domesticated, coming out of the factory. But then talks about wild game being good. Listen, the contradictions is hilarious.
I think if you get some wild turkey or some wild pheasant, and just you should eat
chicken and then source wild pheasant. It's like saying eat organic fruit and then eat sprayed stuff as well. Like it doesn't.
Really good, lean, healthy, real food.
And he's saying eat lean food, but then he's saying fat's good. It's like, what? These guys contradict what they say every sentence. It's hilarious.
I think most people can eat apples and oranges and watermelon, and there's no problem. But I think there are a few people...
When is apples, oranges, and watermelon ever a fucking problem, man? When is that ever a problem? Joe Rogan, no one's getting obese from eating watermelon, apples, and oranges, bro. Anyway, let's get back to Dillashaw. Joe Rogan is another separate entity there of nutrition misinformation. Man, if I took as much steroids as Joe Rogan, at least I'd have some results for it. Anyway, shade thrown. Dillashaw busted for EPO. So what other drugs would he be taking? He's 57 kilos, so he's not that heavy. So I'm not sure what else he'd be taking. Probably definitely some stims. I'd say maybe a little bit low strength anabolics he would probably be taking. Why not? If you take an EPO, why wouldn't you take other stuff to make you punch harder? So I'd say he'd be on quite low dosage anabolics just for the, if you're just doing a lot of training for a bit of recovery, enhanced glycogen retention, etc., healing from injuries. So yeah, I would say, but he's not taking a lot. He's not getting much roid skin going on there. He's very, very small. His wife's arm's about the same size as his, so I'd say if he's taking anything anabolic, it'd be very, very small dosages and nothing there, because again, body weight and his body physique looks, he's quite small. But again, if you compare him to these other dopers, or the other guy, what's his name? This guy here. So, there's both got a bit of vibe going on. But look how inflamed Dana White looks. He's like a tomato ready to pop. Yeah, so that's my comments and criticisms. Who the fuck is training these UFC fighters? Why the fuck is a UFC fighter who's running 22 or 25 minutes for a 5K using EPO? That's just like, what the fuck? That's just hilarious, man. That is truly, that's like me using EPO. Just train more. Just train more. You only want to use EPO if you're like maybe running, sub 15 minutes of 5K. And you want to go under 14s, under 13s, then yeah. But if you're running, 20, 23 minutes for a 5K using EPO, it's like, fuck, it's like if you're doing, 4 watts per kilo or 5 watts per kilo for an hour and using EPOs. What's the point? Get to 6 watts per kilo and then go up from that. Get as far as you can natty and then go on that train if you're going to. Otherwise, you're just wasting drugs and going to get caught out potentially. But just goes to show, he didn't get busted EPO the first few tests. So it looks like the UFC is not testing very much at all these other things. Let's look at Conor McGregor quickly. Conor McGregor talking about these guys getting busted for steroids. I'd say Conor McGregor is also, a bit of a fake natty there as well. So I'd definitely say Conor McGregor, he ain't natty either. But these guys, it's just how it is, man. It's business. People want to get results. That's my comments, criticisms there. TJ Dillashaw, the keto athlete who eats carbohydrates, who claimed it was his diet. We find out it was just the drugs. And even then, his cardio is incredibly poor. And 42-year-old Durianrider would kick his ass any day of the week in any workout. Anyway, that's comments, criticisms. Thanks for sharing. Carb the fuck up. Say no to EPO. Only use it if you're going to win the Tour de France. Fighters don't need EPO. That's just get some decent cardio. Stop being lazy, cunt.